My whole life I've struggled with this same feeling that if I'm not painting the Sistine Chapel, then I'm not using my time properly. And I know that's a really common feeling in the dev world. Odds are if you like game development, then you've felt it too at some point. But I want to get better at not feeling this way. So I'm not making the next open world MMO, Skyrim-esque base builder, post-apocalyptic quadruple A title. I'm making a little game. In some form or another, I've been playing with game dev for about 8 years now. I taught myself Java following Thin Matrix's Build a Game Engine videos. They're an incredible watch, if a little outdated. I've started tens of projects and I have managed to publish one, but that will be a story for another time. I'm a Unity refugee, like a whole bunch of people are at the moment, and it's given me a chance to reflect on the bad habits that have left me with a folder of started projects and very little confidence that I can get anything out. Which is why I'm here now. I mean absolutely no offence by my thumbnail to any indie devs who are making games in any of the genres listed. I applaud you and I envy your work. For me, making this is an intense exercise in scope constraints and knowing my own limits. If you're from the UK like me, you've heard of a game, or something like it. It'll be called Punch Yellow Car, or Yellow Buggy Punch, or Yellow Car, No Returns. All names I've heard when I've described this to people. According to Wikipedia, some folks in the US call it Banana, that is citation needed. Or you might play looking for VW Beetles instead of yellow cars. But the game is simple. If you see a yellow car, whoever you're with, your friend, wife, nan, parole officer, you get one free punch. So that's the game I'll be making. Yellow Car Brawl. A local multiplayer brawler game where you first hunt down yellow vehicles driving around a fixed map before being able to KO your opponents. My focus, at least for now, is to build the game for local multiplayer and design it around replayability, strategy, short, fast rounds of interesting, fun combat. The core gameplay loop will look something like explore and find yellow vehicles, hunt your friend down, have a round of combat, and keep playing until someone dies. In short, it's because it's simple to understand and because I find it funny. This isn't my first rodeo with game development, but it is hopefully going to be the first one I properly publish. I'm sincerely hoping it won't be my last. But it's a project that's big enough I can be proud of what I'm making and still keep everything in scope. I've always wanted to design games that I want to play, and the more I've thought about this game and gotten the basics built, realised what it could be, the more I've wanted to play it myself. I have kept the whole idea down to local multiplayer for 2 reasons. The main being that it's a genre I think is underrepresented. Like most folks who make games, I also enjoy playing them. And the most fun I have playing games is when I'm sitting with friends. There's not that many PC titles designed to be played with your friends beside you. I know that that's slightly less so on consoles like the Switch, but I think the PC has plenty of space for local multiplayer, and that's what I want to make. The second reason is I just can't be fussed with networking, so if it's going to be added, it's going to be added in the later stages when I'm more confident. As a side note, if you happen to know any good games with local multiplayer for PC, they could be co-op or competitive, especially if they're small or indie titles, please let me know. I'm always on the lookout. Eventually, I might broaden my scope for online play or single player. That's something I'm only really going to know after I've got other people trying the game. In my day job, I am a programmer. I reckon that's probably not a shock to anyone who's ever watched a devlog. I got a degree in computer science. I've been coding for coming up on a decade now. This is not going to be a coding project. I've fallen time and time again at development because I've gotten distracted by the coding, optimizing, implementing, everything in my comfort zone instead of looking at the project as a whole. So for this, I'm going to be focusing on out-the-box components with minimal scripting, My work is going to be focused on the design, the art and composition, all things that are at the border of my comfort zone. I'm going to be making my own art assets, for the most part because it's what I'm finding fun at the moment. If there's anything I can't make, or it's not in scope for me to learn, then I will be more than happy to purchase them, and obviously I'll explain why and when, if I ever do. At present, the only part I'm really planning on not doing myself is the music and the sounds, and that's because I have got limits. I am trying to keep the scope reasonable, and I haven't even tried to learn them yet. One day, I will make a project that has something to do with music I've made myself. I'm planning on building this game in proper stages. Right now, I'm at a minimal viable product, emphasis on minimal. It's a level checking it's actually fun to do the very basic parts of the game, travelling around, spotting cars, coming in and trying to hit each other. It's something I can get in front of people I know and trust now so they can let me know their thoughts. I wanted to have something built before I started these devlogs. Flying beans with cubes for buildings felt like it might be too little, but I am trying to fight this feeling that I've got to have everything done before I can start putting it out there. I don't need to be perfect at every turn. You can see there's not too much going on right now, but there is plenty coming. Now I've got these devlogs started, I'm going to be working on my alpha, a version of the game that I can start showing to more people, that has all of the rough components in place, and to make sure I'm not hyper focusing on the little things that have brought me down in the past. Once the alpha's done, and only then, I'm going to start working on a beta, a more refined iteration, then getting it to early access, and eventually doing this full release. For each section, I have set a scope tightly, and I won't be allowing myself to step outside the scope until that section's done. For the alpha, which I'm working on now, I've put my scope on screen. You are welcome to read, but simply, I want to have 2 characters that are roughly modelled and animated in 2 different urban environments, 2 different vehicle types. I hadn't noticed until I started writing the script how many 2s there were, with a simple UI and menu system. This is very small on purpose, but I hope you'll enjoy seeing the progression from what we have now to where we'll be going when the alpha's done. I'm managing my project through Tiger. It's an open source Jira-like alternative, which you can see on screen. One day I might go through a tour, if I can ever work out how to make project management even vaguely sexy. I'll be uploading devlogs every 2 weeks with updates from the game and from me. I'm planning eventually to publish this game on Steam. Not particularly because I want to be the next big one-person studio, but because I'd like to learn what goes into that. I work full-time, and I like what I do. This is a hobby for now, and for now that's how it'll stay. It does give me the freedom to take risks that might not be financially sound, but it does mean that I can't be working on it as much as if I could devote my whole time to it. More than anything though, what I'm looking for from making these videos and this game is to be part of a community that I adore. I spend so much of my time following indie game developers, artists who do what they do because they love it, and I find it so inspiring. Along with working on my game, I'm going to be making sure I contribute to the community, get involved in game jams, join discords, and all around have a fun time doing this. So if you've managed to stumble onto this video, thank you so much. I'm at the very start of my journey, so every interaction means the absolute world to me. I never thought I'd get so excited about the idea of having 10 views on a video. If you're interested in supporting this project, commenting, even subscribing would, no joke, give me the biggest smile. So my next video, I'm going to be laying out the full alpha map, creating some proper models for the buildings, and improving the landscape. I can't wait to see you then.